Hello, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, depending on what time you're watching this video. Today is Saturday. It feels good outside. Normally, I'm not a big fan of filming when it's sunny outside. So as you can see, it's very bright from my window. And my camera looks great, so I guess it's the moment to film. Usually I film around evening when the sun is down. That's when I feel more comfortable. But I have a trip in a minute. I'll be going to play pickleball with my friends somewhere in Maryland. So I have to film this video, edit it, and post it on internet before I leave. So today is Saturday, and I can always try to work every single day, Monday to Friday, Monday to Sunday. And as I made a commitment, I have to keep filming, keep posting every single day. First of all, I want to wish you a wonderful day. If you can watch this video, that means you are still breathing, you are still successful, you have managed to make it to this day, to make this video, and I wish you the best. I wish you succeed. I wish you achieve everything you wanted to achieve. So today's video is going to be focusing on the human cost of political gridlock. The human cost of political gridlock. Gridlock is the term meaning when things are not done. So bureaucratic. That's what they call it in politics. But gridlock is like pushy back and forth and arguments and theoretical, but no action gets taken, and just nothing gets achieved. So the U.S. Congress has been in political gridlock for a long time, and this has costed so much on a human level, specifically the American people. And I will touch on the few things that have been affected, things that need to be resolved as soon as possible. But the U.S. Congress has not really acted on or even tried their best, in my opinion. There are many elements that takes place that makes these things takes time to be implemented, and I will touch on those elements as well. First of all, I'll mention the things that needs to be taken care of. So, for instance, we have domestically in the United States, we have Medicare, which Congress has never really agreed on how much they should spend on Medicare, how much they need to cut, and many people in this country, they don't have insurance, they don't have health insurance, and we're talking about people who are sick, whether it's diabetics, cancer, overweight, and injuries on workplace injuries, stress, mental health, like all kinds of things that needs to be resolved. Cheap cost of medical equipments and treatments cost so much money. Pharmacies are very expensive, and all these things can be resolved where if the U.S. government, the federal government, the Congress can sit down and reflect and understand that many Americans every single day losing their lives, they are losing their loved ones, they are losing hope, they are losing trust when the Congress delays in passing the policies, when they stuck on debates and not taking any actions. And then you have opportunistic companies like insurance companies. These are private companies that hire expensive lawyers and attorneys, and then people's loved ones are stuck in the hospital, and all of a sudden they die. And even when they die, there is not enough money to bury them because the insurance companies don't really want to spend money on the burial. It's huge mess. And as you can imagine, both the Republican and the Democrats, which these are two main political parties we have in this country, as they are debating, and then they have to pass the policies, and the policies have to go through the Senate and get approved. Then they have to go to the president and get signed, and when the president vetoes the policy, it goes back on the floor, it gets abandoned, and then you have more things. It's a huge mess. In that moment, we're talking about weeks, months, years, and all that. Somebody who's sitting in a hospital is on emergencies trying to survive. It doesn't really make sense. That is costing someone's lives, and someone is not really taking action. That's one thing. But then here's another thing. For example, we can talk about prices. Inflation. The Congress has the power to pass policies that will eventually save many Americans from spending money, seeing the prices going up. Meanwhile, their employment is being jeopardized. Their savings are being jeopardized. Their investments are being jeopardized. And as Congress spends time, debating and all this political dreadlock and push back and forth, it makes many American people eventually lose their voice. When I say they lose their voice, it means they are no longer able to see video like this. They are now getting evicted, or their homes are getting put on auction. They become homeless, and mental stress take a straw, and all this cost human lives as the Congress takes time to pass acts and get to act on these things. And then you have another problem. For example, things like local manufacturing. U.S. Congress has not have touched this couple days, where the Congress has never really invested so much money in infrastructure. When you go around the United States, you see a lot of old infrastructure, very old infrastructure that needs to be invested in. Manufacturing, public transportation, all these things needs to be invested in. They need to invest in energy. Every single energy needs to be invested in. They need to put so much money, and this is for the benefits of all of us. But they have not really done anything much. And whenever there is an investment coming in, it takes time to get approved, takes time to be implemented, and we're talking about jobs getting lost, and the competition takes a different toll. And then you also have international as well. So you have our allies, Ukraine, maybe Israel, maybe South Korea, and United States need to invest money, whether in military, security, NATO, and all these things. As the Congress takes time to implement and pass the laws and ensure that the allies are protected, it also means that many people, not just in the United States, but also those nations are losing their lives. They are losing land, and all these things costs a lot of human lives, and people pay the cost. Congress still pay the cost. Congress members, they have insurance, they have protection, they have salaries coming in, and they don't really feel the pain that many people are going through. And by not implementing things, by not using their power and doing what they were voted for, it feels like they're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. So that's what I was talking about. That's one of them, and there are many things that needs to be passed. The cost of housing, the interest rate going up on housing market going crashing, education, not performing as it should. And so many things that needs to be implemented, so many things need to be fixed, security, safety, like so many things that need to be fixed in the country. And the Congress have an upper hand in fixing the things. They have, they can just agree that both Republicans and the Democrats, they suffer when people don't have jobs. They suffer when our national security is jeopardized. They suffer when our rights are getting attacked. They suffer when manufacturing goes down. They suffer when the trade deficit starts to go up instead of having trade surplus. They suffer when our education system is not performing per standards, right? They suffer when migration is jeopardized, and all these things need to be passed, needs to be implemented. But of course, we know it takes months, years to be done. So why does these things take so long? Well, it's a secret ways of being corrupt, right? You have the lobbyists. Lobbyists are people with their own self-interest, sometimes for good reason, sometimes for bad reason. These lobbyists, they will see where they are gaining, and when they see somebody trying to push against these gains, they jump in and they try to stop it. For instance, if I start a business, right, and I want to sell shoes from China, but let's say if I build a company here in the United States selling shoes, the average worker will be paid, let's say, $25 to make shoes, and then in turn I can sell those shoes at $50 and or $100, but then I can make money and everybody gets employed. However, if I make shoes in China and I sell those shoes at $20, but I can ship those shoes alongside motorcycles from China together in the same shipping container, we get to save so much money. Then I get to sell the shoes at $30. So the competitive advantage is the price of the labor market, price of supply chain, and have the consumer in the United States. And all that is cost saving. That means I get to keep more money in the pocket by paying a Chinese worker $5. And then American workers, they get to work in a store or sales or those high-paying jobs. I get to pay fewer white-collar workers while I pay fewer blue-collar workers in China. Now, let's say another person comes in and tries to invest, build a company in the United States, and they want the US government to pass Shoes Quality Act, where every American gets to wear a very expensive but more quality shoes made in the United States. If I want to keep making money from China and I don't want to compete with somebody in the United States because I know my shoes will be raw quality made in China, I rather increase the price of shoes to $40, and then extra $10 goes to the lobbyist, goes to rob the Congress. So I send somebody in Congress to negotiate with Congress and tell them, you know what, we can keep making shoes in China and we'll be fine. We can pay you more money. We have built factory. We have helped people gain jobs. Just try to make some BS around, and then convince the Congress to actually not pass the act. And that keeps happening over and over and over. And then it takes years for Congress to act on these things. And this is what we see every single day. Nothing gets passed, nothing gets done. It just keeps the revolving door. Meanwhile, the few gets the benefits. And the same thing happens to homeless people. There is no way you can build an expensive, wonderful, good-looking apartments. If a billionaire like Elon Musk chooses to build big apartments in the middle of Nevada and he house all the homeless people, he might get sued. he might get sued by people who benefits from these homeless people, like the activists. They will find something that will be an excuse. And even if you build an apartment and you lower the price of an apartment, you can get sued for inflating the price of an apartment. So all these things happen in Congress, and it costs so much human lives here. So that's what I'm going to take today. That's the last 15 minutes of this video. And if you find this helpful, please give me a follow and let me know what you think in the comment. See you. Bye bye.